God dang. Already.
Man, everybody.
Already. That
All,
started
What's
off
happening?
all, man, if y'all
already.
don't know, man, this is the Urban Combat Wrestling Rap and Wrestling Podcast. I am Spaceman Jones,
And I'm
co-owner,
your boy Mook the BTSG. You already know. Yeah.
co-owner of
Big
Urban Combat.
finesse.
And then the other guy, man, that's the Finesse King, Alan Brody.
Big finesse.
Big
Yeah,
Finesse.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, man.
Hey,
And today we have man, we got Thomas Russell, man, on here. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
AKA Tyson Maddux, man.
AKA Tyson Maddux. This guy is well traveled, man, all over the world, and he's residing in Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta right now for the time. Well, I'm gonna say for the time being, maybe
Man.
forever. I don't know. I move around, bro.
Yeah, man.
I move around, man.
Hey, man, and for those who don't know you, and this is my first time really meeting you. You know, we done been connecting on Facebook. I've watched a lot of your matches, so I think I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you in that condition. But for those who don't know you, if you want to go ahead and give an introduction to yourself, who you are, what
I
you do.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, I'm a timeless athlete, bro. I'm like a Bo Jackson, primetime Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson. I'm
Yeah,
one of these cats out in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? You can put me in any era you want, and I'm gonna stand out. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a athletic ability that's next to none. Big, fast, strong. You know what I'm saying? I like to consider myself a student of the game because I'm always studying. You know what I'm saying? Matches that's currently going on, matches from the past. You know what I'm saying? I'm wired in and I'm tapped into wrestling.
man, true indeed, and that's something that we pride ourselves on here at Urban Combat Wrestling. Man, is we love good old Southern wrestling. You know, that's the style
Yeah.
we grew up watching. I think that it's the best. It's the best style to me of professional wrestling is American Southern style, where you're using a lot of psychology. You know who the good guys and the bad guys are. It's about, that's what we on. So in your travels in wrestling, man, would you like to talk about, how you found professional wrestling, and how you
Man, as far as like finding it, bro, it's like, I want to say when you're about 2 or 3, you know what I'm saying, you start developing, you know what I'm saying, a sense of like a memory, you know what I'm saying, you remember things. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it's things, you know what I'm saying, you can remember as a child, you know what I'm saying, till this day. And with me, like my first memory was wrestling. Like, so I'm originally from Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
And like, man, I'm about to, let my age ride a little bit. But back in like 1988, you know what I'm saying, my mama took me to a wrestling show, in Oakdale, Louisiana, which is where so I was staying at the time. You had Rock and Roll Express, Lord Humongous,
Man,
pretty much like a mid South show. You know what I'm saying?
man,
They ran Louisiana.
shout out to that whole lineage, man. All three of us are trained by Ricky Morton. You know what I'm saying? So that's our guy.
All right, well, you know what I'm saying.
Big
Well, I guess
facts. Big
I don't mean
facts.
to, I don't mean to jump. You know what I'm saying? Jump kind of head steam on to like as far as like I'm training now. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm training with Robert Gibson.
Ah, man, that's Hoop, man. Shout out to Hoop.
Yeah, right now that's what I'm
Hey.
training with right now.
Man,
So
that's a good fella, man. Shout out to the Rock
yeah.
Express.
And,
And
and and like I guess you could say what's kind of funny is they was on that show of my first wrestling show I ever attended. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like like some stuff kind of falling. It fall full circle.
man,
Full
yeah,
circle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? From there, what I'm saying, it's just like wrestling was just something that I was always into. Like back in middle school, I was the kid. I was the wrestling shirt kid. I always wore the wrestling shirts. You know what I'm saying? That's if you ask anybody who went to school with me, that's what they're probably, what I'm saying, remember me by my family, like, I was always into it. Wrestling was always something. It was always a part of my life or whatever. I always watched it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, I stopped watching it when I got about 16. I started chasing females. You know how it is.
yeah.
you
And then
know,
it wasn't cool back then.
I mean, yeah, but I always kind of kept like a little, always kind of kept like a little, you know what I'm saying, a little eye for it,
Yeah.
and just
So what you saying that I got a question for you.
what's
What
up?
what brought you back like full on with wrestling, and then what was it that was kind of like keeping you attached whenever you were still kind of like put wrestling in the background, and when you was chasing girls, like you said, you still had it there. So what was catching your attention then, and what brought you back like full on, like
I
I
mean,
missed this shit. What was it?
it was like I never like left it. It's just that
Right.
when high school kicked off, you got everything going. You got high school sports going on. You know what I'm saying? You got your little job you're working at the school, so it's kind of like you got all this stuff going on, and you already know like Monday nights. You know what I'm saying? Monday nights was the big thing, but you know what I'm saying? You couldn't really catch it on Monday night like talking
Right.
about it. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a thing where like I would always kind of say keep my eye on it, but it's like it wasn't until like when I really I don't know, it's just like I just started back watching it full time again. It's just like just time just kind of shifted, and
Yeah.
it's it was
Shifty,
just
yeah,
shifted, yeah,
yeah.
it shifted on back in, so I was back kind of watching it, like how I normally used to watch it, but
That's
like
what's up.
but like I said, it's always it's in me. It's just always been there, you know what I'm saying? Just like kind of like my journey up into getting to, what I'm saying, where I'm at now with wrestling, everything that I did in the past, it prepared me for the now, If I could sit there and, tell you my background is like if you look at the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, you know what I'm saying, my background is typically what they would look for, so they would take like ex athletes, ex football players
Yeah.
and roll them on into wrestling. So it's like I have that same
So
have that
and
same background,
in the area that you grew up in, that was mid South Territory. Bill Watts, man, it was he was a former football star. Hacksaw Duggan was a football star. So many of those guys, Butch Reed, and a lot of them guys that was in that territory. So you following right in the lineage, of,
Yeah.
of a big strong athlete. Now we done kind of opened up and broke the ice a little bit. Now it's time to start delving into the bullshit of the game. Now, you're an independent wrestler.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that go into being an indie wrestler. What is the thing that just burns your fucking biscuit that gets on your goddamn nerves when you see it in indie wrestling? The shit that make you give a nigga the lips like.
I mean, I kind of like, for the most part, I kind of stay out the way because you know what I'm saying. I tell everybody, man, I'm not. Let me see how I can put this. My wrestling etiquette is not all the way there. Like I still like you got the wrestling world, you got the real world. Like I still what I'm saying, live in the real world instead of like far as like being in the wrestling world. It's a lot of things, what I'm saying, like you got people who they'll say certain things, you got people hating on you, trying to bury you and stuff, and it's like what I'm saying, and they talk shit about you, and it's like with me, like I'm not I'm not like at that point where it's like if you say something about me, I gotta address you. And like in the wrestling, what I'm saying, you can address the wrong person, and
And
they'll keep you from getting other opportunities. So like for me, for the most part, I kind of stay out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like I have friends in wrestling, but what I'm saying, I kind of stay to myself because it's like that's just how I am. You know what I'm saying?
man,
Because
there's a
I
lot of
like
shit out there. It's a lot of shit out
Yeah.
there for, man.
yeah, it is, bro. It is, bro. But
And
for the most part, like what burns me up is just like what I'm saying, like like the like I guess you could say like the fakeness of it, and just kind of like what I'm saying, with people, not as far as like the
the
fakeness
the
of it, but like as far as like
the
what
brother shit, the brother.
so
Hey, brother, but it's all
that
fake.
too, like brother, like the brotherhood part of it, what I'm saying, it's still there, but it's a lot of fakeness that go on. It's a lot of fakeness out there too, what I'm saying. It's like, and then like what kind of burns me up too is like people who like not what they say they are, what I'm saying. Like you
Yeah.
have cats who talking about, man, I'm a 12-year vet, 13-year vet, but you barely got 100
My
matches under you, you know what
God.
I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm
Diamondback.
saying?
Yes.
Like,
Say that again, bro. Say
and
that again. Bro,
Diamondback.
there's
and
so many people that's walking around here talking about they've been in the game for 12 years this, 20 years that, but don't fail to mention they've been in the ring one time a year for 20 years. Like, bruh, like,
yeah, and
like that don't add
and
up,
you
bro.
got like the what else? Let me see. It's just
It's a
You
lot
got stuff
of
like that going on, and
Yeah.
damn, I lost track of what I was about to
I
say.
know that that's the number one thing that come up when we ask that question is like the politics and the bullshit in the back. Is the main thing that people talk about, and motherfuckers not watching their ears. And you hit on one a bit. It said people not being who they say they are. We had one dude that was at the school this morning, and he kept like he was a real big belt mark. You know what I'm saying? And he talking about old Diamond Dave, man.
Old Diamond Dave. What you
Yeah, not the
mean?
real
Oh,
The
Dave,
legend,
not the
not the
slanging
real one.
Jews, not
hold
slanging
on, hold
Jews.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
The
on,
little.
man, hold on,
No,
man.
not that one. No, we talking about
We talking
East
about
Tennessee Diamond Dave.
yeah. We not talking
Man,
about
I know, man. Hold nah. Like I met a Diamond Dave, but I met a Diamond Dave before. But like we would have to like kind of show you had to show me a picture of the Diamond Dave you talking about, and
Diamond
then
Dave.
maybe the Diamond Dave I'm talking about. Cause it's
And,
like in wrestling, everybody
take the
people
name.
recycle names. They
Yeah,
recycle
yeah.
names.
Okay, the Diamond Dave that I'm talking about is a kid from East Tennessee, and he got a twin brother, and he's kind of like a live action.
Would you want to go in the ocean if there were no waves?
Very,
Would you want
like
to go into
live
the ocean
action
if there were no
cat,
waves?
but just not as dangerous. You know, the Tasmanian Devil on the cartoon.
Yeah.
He like one of them, but just not dangerous.
Oh
At
no,
all.
we
At
cool.
all.
We ain't talking about the same one. We ain't talking
Now
about the
this
same one.
another
This
Diamond
an old
Dave
cat.
Nah,
who
no,
from
we definitely. I mean,
okay,
I knew from the very beginning that we want to talk about the same person because if you know this Diamond Dave, everybody knows this Diamond Dave that I'm talking about. If, as far as like the one that I'm talking about in this area up here, he's a legend. But you know how you can be a legend for all the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of them. You know what I'm saying?
well, now
But
let's
yeah,
go ahead and put out a public service announcement or a disclaimer. Now there is a Diamond Dave who is the Trailer Park Ninja. Who I fuck with that Diamond Dave. He's slanging Judies to the pot liquors and He got a nice little spiel about it. But this other cat came into the school, he had his belt on, he was tripping. You know what I'm saying? He was just tripping. Like, why you walking around the wrestling school with your championship belt that don't even got nothing to do with nothing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he talked a lot of junk. Hey,
hey, Diddle.
see, that's why you muted, because I know he's saying
That's why
some
you
ratchet
muted
shit.
because you saying something. Yeah, because the Lord don't like ugly.
I said, don't talk to my kids. Don't talk to my kids. Ain't no better than talk to my
Yeah.
niggas.
Hey,
Damn.
hey.
Hey, but
He teaching his son that savage joint from the beginning.
he was talking a lot of crazy shit, and then he got served. He got served justice. You know what I'm saying? Because he can't.
Going upstairs.
He couldn't get up and over on the hip tosses and shit like that. On his head a couple times, and that's just what happens when you who you say you is. You don't know the type of activity, but if you do it to yourself, hey man, what can I say about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I think you made a good
And
point earlier too. Go ahead, bro.
and it's also what kind of burns me up is like, what I'm saying, people who don't respect the business also, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
where it's like you got people who like they call themselves trainers and know goddamn well they shouldn't even be they don't have the credentials, you know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be training people, you know what I'm saying? Like that's another thing that burns me up too. And I'm pretty sure y'all see it all the time. Like I've seen like
well,
most people kind of get sucked into that.
we in
Yeah.
Western North Carolina and East Tennessee, man. This is the land. This is where all the butt hurt trash bag rappers come from. That page, this is where they all come from. This place so hard to make the shit look legit. Okay, it was to make an analogy to the streets, because I come from the streets. There was a movie called American Pimpin', right? And one of the scenes in the movie, it was a guy like, I don't know why they trying to make the pimping look raggedy. A lot of the people around here, man, they shit make wrestling look raggedy. Because they doing shit that they don't need to be done. And they not respecting the way it's supposed to be. And I feel that, but me and Mook don't really adhere to the traditionalism of wrestling, because we think that a lot of the traditions is there in place to keep the new guys underneath and the older guys on top. And when we think that that's an artificial way of judging talent and how you should deal with it, I think that it's a antiquated system. We're not really for that,
Yeah.
But a lot of the things that we're talking about is safety issues, training and actually being like able to pull off what goes on in the ring without hurting yourself or
another person. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The world been knowing that this shit is a work since Jack Pfeffer, man.
Yeah.
And, it's not people who come to wrestling shows come there to purposely suspend their disbelief. Because what somebody said, it was Al Snow said that as soon as you throw a punch, they know the shit is not, they know because everybody done, a lot of people done seen. So what's your thoughts about the traditions that you feel are legit?
I mean, it's like for the most part, I don't like the fake stuff, the fake looking stuff, my damn self. But it's like, what I'm saying, when you think about it though, it's something out there wrestling wise. I look at it as music, what I'm saying, like genre based, what I'm saying. You got people who like that, you got people who like this and like that, what I'm saying. So it's like
working styles, yeah.
The next time,
hold
on for 1 second, Tyson. I gotta address something real quick. Hey man, if I don't get my fucking bong back, we gonna have, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put a hit out on you, and you just don't even know. I want my shit back, you.
What you talking about?
I just seen you with it.
What you talking about?
What?
He hit you with the What you talking about?
That you deal with, you try to help, but they don't ever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
You good, man. You good.
This man, honestly, man, Brody been tripping for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what happened. He took him from doing the podcast and came back.
He challenged you to an in the hood match.
In the hood match. Anytime.
No. The hell I look like? Come on, nigga. No.
He's scared.
No. Scared?
Scared.
Brody, I done had you on your back more times than you done had your woman on your back. And how many kids do you have? So don't come at me with scared.
You're scared.
What it is I work for that money. Yeah. Shout out, man. Let's have a moment of silence because Brody need to shut up anyway. For our recently lost superstar, man. Let's have a moment of silence.
Man, for Shad.
For Shad, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right.
Because today.
Now let's get back to what was going on before the fuckery entered the room.
All right. So like really, everybody got their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, like I don't really like to shit on other things that people like. I just don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? When you think about like the fuckery that goes on.
Can you say that again for the people that way in the back?
I mean, I don't shit on it. I just don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? And that's like you know what I'm saying. Like me, like I ain't gonna hate on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna lie. Like that, like the Joey Ryan thing, it's silly as hell. But you know what I'm saying? He getting money. He getting money. He getting money. He's getting paid to do it. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I can't hate him. But like, would I watch it? Nah. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a big fan of Japanese wrestling. Like that's really truthfully what I watch mainly. You know what I'm saying? But like when you look at like DDT, you're gonna see a firecracker in somebody's ass. You know what I'm saying? You gonna see him doing some crazy stuff, but that's subjective to that crowd. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I'm saying, like deathmatch wrestling. I don't watch deathmatch wrestling.
I don't mess with
I'm not.
too much.
I'm not a fan of it, but you know what I'm saying. But I'm not gonna hate on it because that's what them guys do. You know what I'm saying? That's they thing. And you know, like and when I went to Japan, like my first time in Japan, you
Now that's
know,
what I'm gonna talk about.
well, God rest the dead, man. One of my friends, Wild Seven, he was real cool with Onita. And like when I went on my first trip to Japan, you know, he took me, introduced me to Onita, and Onita autographed the shirt, you know what I'm saying, and gave it to me.
Man, that's big time right there, man.
So you know what I'm saying, like it's cool. Like I say, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you putting your life on the line, no matter if you know what I'm saying, if it's something you're doing that's smart or it's something you're doing that's crazy or not. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna respect what you do. I'm gonna respect your mind. I'm gonna respect what you do. I'm not gonna shit on you. I'm just not gonna do it, but you know what I'm saying? It's all you, you know what I'm saying? What's good for the goose is good for the gander, you know what I'm saying?
Now you being a student of the game, you came to the point in the interview where we got this good question, man, that we love to ask. On your top five.
Top five.
On your top five.
All right, okay, I'm gonna ask you this. So we talking about like all the way around, like as far as like, you know what I'm saying, we talking strictly in ring? We're talking like the whole shebang bang.
The whole shebang bang is a lot, because a lot of people I like in the ring who don't have the whole shebang bang. You know what I'm saying? And the whole shebang bang, the criteria of the whole shebang bang is this is the wrestling business, not the wrestling sport or the wrestling friends. The object of the game is to put asses in seats and get a little green, little skrilla to the back. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of the game. So they got to play a part in it. Also, they work, promo, look, gimmick, you know, the whole nine. You know who the top five.
Okay, I gotta really go no particular order.
Okay,
right?
okay.
They just there. So I gotta put Bret Hart on there. Gotta put Bret. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've been studying him lately, and it's like a lot of things that he's a general, bro. Like it's like his psychology is off the charts.
And I'm gonna tell you now, he's so legit and believable when he's working. Like he make you feel like he in a fight for his motherfucking life every time.
Okay, gotta go Bret. I'm gonna go Naomichi Marufuji in Japan.
Okay.
I'm a big Marufuji fan, you know.
Marufuji. Solid.
Okay. That's two. I'm gonna go Sting because I gotta go Sting because like, you know, when you sit up there and you look at like top baby faces, you know, you got your Hulk Hogan, you got your Ultimate Warrior, you know, those guys right there. Like Sting is my guy.
For me,
so that's
being a Southern youth, Sting. I'm talking about face paint, blonde, flat top. He had all the charisma in the world, and that motherfucker used to run and jump over that top rope with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was a huge guy, man. Man, shout out to Sting. Still working it too.
I'm gonna go Austin next.
Okay. I love Steve Austin's work in World Class Championship Wrestling and in WCW before he made it to WWF. I thought Stunning Steve Austin was a hell of a heel that would have worked in the WWF.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is, you know, when you look at the WWF, like it's almost like the Southern heel couldn't really work there. Cause it's like when you think about like, I mean, it could work, but it's not like everything gotta be right with it. They gotta book you right. Cause when you look at a lot of the guys who was in WCW, NWA.
I mean, there was a lot of runs. I think that the Brainbusters was a colossal failure. Like I thought it was a bad run. I thought Lex Luger was terrible. They didn't know how to work with the Southern guys, but that was only because of I think because of Vince's prejudice in his.
I wouldn't say that. You gotta look at the let's say it's the crowds. You know what I'm saying? Like you had like over the top personalities in WWF. In WCW, you have more people who can work that mouthpiece because there's a lot of people in the WWF that they didn't really have to talk.
Or they didn't have.
If they did talk, you know what I'm saying, in WWE, it was like, you had Ultimate Warrior cutting them crazy promos,
But it's back to the camera and shit. But what I'm saying is that it seemed like Vince had a real vendetta from anybody who came down south. Like,
I mean, like Flair, like when Flair first run there, like it could have been bigger.
That was one that they got right. I thought that run was masterful. Like that 1992, Flair's run in 1992 was beautiful.
But the thing is, it could have been bigger. But when you look at the heels for that time, you know what I'm saying, for like people like Hulk Hogan to work with and all of that, like I feel Flair that would have worked better in the WCW NWA than it would have WWF because he's like, for the most part, when you look at Hogan was working with big heels, people who were like bigger than him, who kind of they gave you that belief that like damn, they could really take Hogan out. And it's like with Ric Flair, Ric Flair he looked regular, and like you really did, the guys who were like regular heels, they wasn't like working on top in those times.
Yeah,
you had One Man Gang, King Kong Bundy, Big Boss Man. You had the big guys like Earthquake.
It was the way that they had that Hogan wanted to work back then, and I think that Hogan was carrying on a legacy of WWF championship that all the way from back in the day with Bruno and Ivan Koloff and Pedro Martinez.
Morales, yeah.
Pedro Morales. See, they had that kind of wrestling where you had the strong baby faces coming in and fighting all the rest. It worked at one point in time, but Vince switched it up. Like his dad was way more. The booking was a lot different, back then.
Yeah, but it went from, like I said, it kind of went from things being territorial when Vince Sr. had it to a more worldwide global thing. And it's like when you look at it from a worldwide global thing, the superhero looking guy was going to be the guy who drew the most money. It's like you had to always build that. It's like he kept it more like that superhero story, as far as like, you got this big, strong Superman or whatever, and he only seemed more matched is when he had somebody who was just as bigger
than him.
Yeah, and it's like when you look at it from a WCW standpoint, it seemed more like theirs was more like kind of like real life, as far as
Yeah, it was, because the psychology is that you had the chicken shit heel, which Ric Flair is probably the best example of. To get his ass whooped for 45 minutes, hit a nigga with a roll of quarters or hit him in the nuts and win in the end. And then, that's just the pattern that he took for a long ass time. Jerry Lawler, that's just what because that's what people was somebody who couldn't win a fair fight.
But when you look at it from a different, like another psychologist standpoint of it, when you look at, we're gonna say like the Four Horsemen, like it was four guys and they was in this collective unit, and it's like they had money. And when you look at it in real life, you know what I'm saying, when you look at like when you look at a Dusty Rhodes and you look at a Ric Flair got the money, he's rich, dressing good, you know what I'm saying. You look at Dusty, who was deemed as the common man, and it's like always, it's always, you know what I'm saying. That's just like how it is. Not the rich, you know what I'm saying,
standing on
the poor. So when you look at so
all of the other stockbrokers, and that's what the Four Horsemen represented with the suits and the money and the jet. It was like, you remember in the 80s, it was all like cocaine and Rolex watches and big jets and white guys with stock markets and Porsches, and it was the land of excess, and Dusty Rhodes represented the people who was in the stands. That's
Yeah,
my.
but that's typically kind of like, you know what I'm saying, all the baby faces in that time, that's kind of like what they all kind of stood for. They were all like, you know, when you look at, you know, Ricky Steamboat, you know, so they all represent like normal
More
people.
Tommy Rich.
Yeah, they were
All,
like
all,
normal people or whatever. Like they didn't have an angle to where they had the upper hand on you. And
well,
it's like they could always work that angle because, you know, you got like, say we fighting for a title or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm about to win that title, but here come, you know, Jim Cornette with his mama's money or somebody
exactly.
with his my money. Oh, they didn't pay this dude
Hey,
to come
somebody
screw
else is
you over.
1-on-1. If you notice, the baby face is always by itself, and the heel always got an entourage and a manager to make shit unfair from the jump because you got to build in as much sympathy as you can for the baby face to get the shit over. You know, you got to
Yeah.
present them with insurmountable odds. But you know who the biggest baby faces in the world is?
Who?
Black people. That's why UCW is different. I grew up watching 605 Saturday night. And man, you know, I'm a proud proponent of I use the N-word, so I'm gonna go ahead and say every time that I wanted to see a nigga win, a nigga would lose, except for Ron Simmons that one time. You know what I'm saying? For real. Now I grew up watching shit. You know what I'm saying? And then we always came up short. And even in the WWF, like even now, I watch Raw and NXT and SmackDown, and my lips be just like that. Who booking this shit? Got to be a room full of white folks, and we not
I mean,
trying.
it's like, you know, it's, you know, yeah, the booking kind of, you know, is I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna say it is what it is, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, like for me, like kind of like with the direction that I'm going in, like with my character, as for who I am in the ring, like I'm really trying to cater myself to my inner child. Cause you know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. Like I seen, like, don't get me wrong, like we had black stars on TV,
Yeah,
but it's like I never really seen like a black star like who kind of had their story on the camera as far as like, you know, like being from the hood or just kind of really growing up being a real black dude out there. You know what I'm saying?
A
And that's kind of
real
like
black
where
dude, yeah.
I
even
mean, I don't want it to get taken out of context as far as like what's a real black dude. But I'm just
Black
saying,
dude,
just like
right, right,
somebody like I grew up seeing every day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
right.
just all I'm saying. Like, you know,
that
like,
character does not exist in wrestling. They
but that's kind of like where I'm going. You know what I'm saying with me. Like, I mean, I'm tatted up. I'm tatted up. I got the beard going. I got the bald head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like I'm jacking it from Crime Time. You know what I'm saying? Crime Time. They wore the grill. You know what I'm saying? I wear a grill when I wrestle now. I wear a mouth guard with a grill in it. Cause I ain't about to
Yeah,
buy no.
yeah.
I ain't about to buy no grill. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, y'all, we representing. You see this drip right now? These Cuban links, diamonds in my
Yeah.
mouth, Fendi Finesse.
all right, man, because
Feel me?
that's what
Straight from the streets.
when me and Mook was riding back and forth on 26, going back and forth to the school of Morton, we was talking about Mike Harrison, Brickhouse Brown, Reggie
Right.
B. Pine, Rufus R. Jones, Sonny King,
Hey, hold on just a sec. Hold on just a sec.
right?
Hold on just a sec, right quick. Shit.
All right, we'll be around this. But this would be a good time to go to commercial. Hey man, we got to go to a commercial real quick. This is the Rapid Wrestling Podcast put on by Urban.
Switch your phones.
Y'all, man, y'all.
Phone about to die.
Wonderful World of Plumbing, taking care of your home and taking care of you. They're on call 24/7 to react promptly to your plumbing emergencies. With upfront pricing and the wonderful plumber promise, satisfaction is guaranteed and you get warranty on all parts and labor. Check them out at wonderfulworldofplumbing.com.
All right, man. All right, man. We back in here, man. We got Tyson Maddux in this mug.
Tatted up with the beard.
And up
Like
with
you
the
just said.
beard. Went to Japan. I
Hey,
heard.
y'all. So y'all hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All
Now
right, cool. Yeah.
we back on here, man. We just came back from a commercial, and what we want to hear about, bro, is that we are really for the culture, man, for urban combat wrestling. For those who don't know, it's a lot of people out there using that for the culture hashtag, but I swear we was using it like
First.
yeah, we was the first one to use that long time ago because this the thought that we had in mind.
Lying. The
Bring
Migos was first.
and
Y'all
what
lying.
who?
It was just
lying.
it was just hashtag culture with Migos. It was just culture.
The Migos was first.
No, they
Y'all
wasn't.
liars.
Bruh,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. I can't wait till wrestling come back because you about to get some punishment. You about to go one-on-one with the Undertaker, player.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
My
it.
bone. We're
No,
gonna have
I'm
a
alright.
bone match. And you
So
we fight, you gonna fight somebody else. And I'm getting my shit back. For real. But we want to hear about your experiences in Japan. Because
yeah, man, I want to know about that, bro. Like how I
we
know it was so different, but
want to know like and shout out to Gigi Drainage, man, my Japanese DJ over there, man. He fucks with our music real heavy, man. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah. I mean, like the first time I went, you know what I'm saying, I went with a guy named Jimmy Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was out there for like I think it's 11 days. I did about 3 shows out there, it was like me kind of getting my feet wet out there. It was just it was cool. I wrestled 2 shows in one day. One of them was, a traditional wrestling matchup, but the other one was kind of like that. It was like that old UWF style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it was something. It was something like that. Like it was like really it was
like almost like catch.
Yeah, it was like grappling, kicking, kickboxing, like stuff like that. It was something more like that. And then the other one, what I'm saying, like it was just like a battle royal type thing. Like now the battle royals in Japan, the one I was in was completely different. It's like you actually kind of run spots and people watch you run your spot, and it's not like a big melee. You know how it is with the battle royals. It's like it's completely different. What that one was, you know what I'm saying? Like that particular show.
Man, I really love battle royals in Japan. My favorite one is the Weapons Rumble. That's my favorite one that DDP do. I love that style.
Yeah. Then like my second time going to Japan, it was more like a tour. You know what I'm saying? Like I was with 01. I was actually, you can say I was living out there for like 2.5 months.
Hey, that's dope.
I was living in the dojo, you know what I'm saying, training in the dojo, traveling on the road with them, hitting tours, all that stuff. Nah, that was a more of an experience because it's like, the first time I went, so I knew I was there for like 12 days, you know what I'm saying? I was coming home. But this time, I had to really like get my mind right and adjust to, you know what I'm saying, from not living in America to like actually living in Japan. So it was just like, really being amongst, you know what I'm saying, living in a house where it was like, when I first got there, which is my roommate, he was a guy from Australia. He spoke English. And like we had another guy from Ireland come in, and he spoke English, but everybody else, you know what I'm saying, they spoke, you know what I'm saying, 95% Japanese.
Right.
So it was, just like kind of, you know what I'm saying, trying to communicate, the best way you can. And like just kind of like adjusting to that, that was like really like one of the hard parts, you know what I'm saying, just like, just kind of just being out there, like what's up? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, but like in the wrestling ring, you know what I'm saying, like really, you know what I'm saying, that part of it was easy. Like the wrestling
I was gonna ask about
part.
the calling of matches. How was it the first time when you was over there for the 11 days, I'm sure there was like all right, how
A
we gonna
learning
call
curve.
this shit? We don't speak the
It
same
was
language.
nah, but see what it was. It's like the guy that I worked with the first time, he could speak some English,
Okay, bet.
so it
Bet.
was kind of like it was easy to put together. You know what I'm saying? And then kind of like the moves are universal as far as like the names of the moves.
Yeah.
They're universal, so you just kind of you can just act it out, or you just tell them like it's like you just tell them, and it's kind of like with the difference between being out there and being here is like out here we can get something going, get something together. Then like if I feel like I want to change something, I can just run to you and say, hey man, let's do this instead of this. But out there it was kind of like what I'm saying, the match we called was the match we called. You know what I'm saying? We just
That's
went
it.
on it and went with it. You know what I'm saying? But and like kind of just adjusting to the style because it's like certain things they do out there a little bit more different as far as like their match structure. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more back and forth, which is kind of
Right.
something. It's like which is like I have a tendency to like them. I like that style more. And it's like like learning how to put a match together that way. And then what I'm saying, you got like the traditional southern style structure. You know what I'm saying, shine, heat, come
Heat,
back,
come back.
go home.
Yeah,
But it's
go.
like what I'm saying, like I kind of put I kind of do things now where I kind of bridge the two.
A hybrid kind of style. But still
Yeah,
work.
I bridge it. I bridge it. I try to bridge it, like with people I do have. I try to bridge the two, so it's like it becomes a more
It's more fluid
fun
out
match.
that way. It's more
Yeah, yeah. The reason why I'm telling you, is like the reason why it's so fluid out there, bro. It's like it's the way they train you. The way they train you, bro. It's like they really, literally spoon feed you. Cause like when I got there, like they had a young boy there. I want to say he had been there for a few months, and like we were training in the dojo, he was really still
God.
just rolling
It's
and bumping
1100
and
acres
running the
away. Use the
ropes.
bathroom.
And mind you, I was there for 2.5 months. And when I was there for 2.5 months, he really didn't take a body slam, hip toss, and none of that. He was still doing the same thing for 2.5 months.
Whoa.
And then like
Wow.
I recently like
now.
I
Now,
and then
now
I
let me
recently
ask you about that. Is there a proficiency test to move on to the next step?
nah, it's really it's like that's just the way they train you. They make sure you get it. It's like I looked at his cause like I still I still communicate with a lot of those guys. Whatever. I was looking at his Instagram, where kind of like out there, like everything's kind of settled. So they do like a lot of filming, a lot of content they putting out. And they was training in the dojo, and I seen it. I was like, damn, he doing hip tosses, like he's actually doing the stuff now. And just when you think about it, like I left Japan in October, and here it is like May,
Yeah.
and he's actually doing that part of it now. So it's like just think about like the way they kind of the length of time they take to train you for you to get things, and it's like is that's why they're so fluid.
Man,
And
so
it's like out there, one thing that I noticed is like you can't just be like, hey, I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler. I'm gonna pay the money to go be a wrestler and join the school. No, out there it's like you literally have to be. From what I'm seeing, you have to be selected. You have to try out to be you have to be selected to try out. Then you have to try out, and then they choose you.
yeah, man, that's a different that's a completely different system than what we end up seeing.
I mean,
Uh,
but when you think about it though, like that's how it was, before wrestling became what it is, and in the states, because back then, you were kind of
The
recruited.
close society.
It's like
yeah.
Close
hey, why
society.
don't you come try wrestling? Then you go to wrestling, it's like you try out, and then it's like then you eventually get broke in. It's
Yeah.
like, but it is the way it is now. Is anybody can be a wrestler, but out there, not anybody can just be a wrestler. Which is what I kind of like out there, because you kind of know it's like you get guys who are serious about the business and serious about learning.
Right.
But the difference between out there and out here is like it's a real strict loyalty code out there. Like they would ask me, they were like, hey, saying like, who do you wrestle for back in the states? you know, and you ask us that question, we'll give you a damn long ass list of places you wrestle.
Right.
Out there, like you kind of have your primary company that you work for, and they lend you out to certain places. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that was the
man.
Here. When Dusty Rhodes was on top in Florida, Eddie Graham would send them out to New York or wherever, to Houston, to wherever, because he had to get somebody else over. You know, that's usually what it is. You know, you got to get people over, so you got to get them out the territory.
You know what? This, you know, I'm glad you said that, and this is kind of, you know, not on the same subject, but I think that would be so amazing if we still had something like that around today. There are a lot of people around who, if they are a school, they not teaching like you know, like they'll teach you bumps, they'll teach you hitting the ropes, they'll teach you all kind of techniques, character development and stuff like that. But then they forget the business side. They forget to teach you how to get bookings. They forget to teach you all of that part. You know what I'm saying? Because that is so much. That's just as part as being a professional wrestler nowadays, because you're basically an independent worker. But when they're not doing that, I think it's crazy to think that you're gonna work for this one promotion and you're gonna be noticed off of the work that you've done for that one promotion, unless you're working for.
Saying that's the difference though between here and
that's what I'm saying.
But see out there, like out there, like you know, you have your freelancers. You have like your little outlaw, you know, they call them outlaw. You have your freelancers, like you have your big, you know, you got your big companies. You know, you got New Japan, All Japan, Noah, DDT, 01. What is it? Michinoku. I think Michinoku Pro, Dragon Gate. You have your biggest, but you have a lot of small ones also. Now, as far as like getting into the big companies, like you have to be selected. And it's like some company, but like New Japan really don't do the joint shows no more. Where they'll send a guy over here to work and send a guy over there to work. But like all the rest of the companies, they kind of work together. Because like when I was with 01, you know, most of the time when I was there, Daisuke Sekimoto, he was the champion, and you know Sekimoto was a big Japan guy. So it's like. And then like Noah and DDT, they working together, and Noah and All Japan, they were gonna work together because you know a few of the pro wrestling Noah guys were gonna go work the championship carnival in All Japan, which is, you know, All Japan's version of the G1.
Yeah.
Right.
And so but like when you look at it, like I hear, like it couldn't, like I said, it's like it couldn't work. It couldn't work in today because it's like the loyalty isn't there. Like, you know, like the loyalty between promoter and wrestler is not there anymore. Back in the day, it probably was sketchy back then, but it's like now, you know, it's like it's not as sketchy. It's like there's no camaraderie between promoters, and there's no camaraderie between, you know what I'm saying, between us, because you know when you think about like back in the day, like if somebody was the shits or somebody, if a wrestler burnt this promoter, you know what I'm saying,
the guys
they not fucking with him, or if you know this promoter burned this wrestler, you know another promoter not fucking with him, and the boys not fucking with him, and it's like.
You don't see that now because it's each man for himself. But that's a philosophy that myself and MOOK do not adhere to. We believe 100% in collaboration and stronger than competition, because we come from the rap music world. You see what I'm saying? Like I've been a rapper and an event promoter for a long time. Transferred over into wrestling, learned the game from James Strange and Ricky Morton, them down there. And now we want to do something different. We want to create a different type of vibe in our locker room, a different type of vibe in the building when we doing the show. We don't want this to be like a top-heavy, top-down type of deal. And the main thing is our philosophies about a lot of stuff is that a lot of promoters will book a guy and fit him into a role. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We book guys because of what they can do, and we allow them to feel their role, and we ride around them. You see what I'm saying? We are way more flexible. And we believe in rap music. So we have rap music in all of our shows. Rappers in the ring, in between the matches. Like,
yeah, that's almost like some rock and wrestling type shit. You know what I'm saying? back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's rap and wrestling though. It's rap and wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's rap and wrestling.
I mean, and it's like that kind of goes back to like, you know what I'm saying, like where like how I try to push myself out, like how I'm pushing myself out now as a character, because like I'm pretty much taking who I am and just turning it up a notch, being myself, saying things that I know I would say instead of saying some type of manufactured quote.
That's the only way that professional wrestling works, is when you take your own personality and turn it all the way up. Look at the great ones: The Rock, Triple H, Ric Flair, Ricky Morton, Ricky Steamboat, all of them. Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Bruno. All of them guys was themselves.
Yeah.
They wasn't playing the character. They was just being themselves and turning the shit up. And they may have had a different name, but that's the only way, because to connect with the fans. Emotion wrestling is, a lot of people think that it's a physical thing. It's not a physical thing. Wrestling an emotional thing. You telling an old ass story of there's a good guy who wants something, and it's a bad man who he wants something, or he trying to protect something. Either the bad man got it or he trying to get it. It's the damsel story.
Yeah.
It's the only fucking story that's ever been told in any medium on the planet Earth, is that story, whether it's in film, book, music, whatever art it is. It's that story.
Yeah.
All the story of a motherfucker trying to redeem himself. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get the best version of himself. And that's what professional wrestling is about at a very essential core, is people living vicariously through the performance in the ring, trying to get to their best self.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
You gotta tap in through that, through emotion. The best way I've seen it was having a good man fight a bad man. Now in the 90s, it kind of muddied the water and brought out motherfuckers like Stone Cold and, you know, Rock and Raven, like the anti-hero. But that's because the world is changing. And a lot of good guys got.
I mean, but like I said, it's like you think about, you could still tell that. It's like I feel like you could still tell that same story.
That's the only story that works.
Like with two good guys, you know what I'm saying? You can still depending on like what the stakes are, you can tell that same story. You can tell that same story like with two heels also. It just, like I said, it just you just have to like really like, you know what I'm saying, make it known what they're fighting for. Like, okay, like you got two heels and they like, who gonna do the most dirtiest shit to get ahead?
Where's
this? Yeah, so it's like you gotta tell, yeah.
But we see that a lot. Like look in today's media, as far as like Netflix and what's on TV and what's popular.
Yeah.
That guy's done been winning for a long time. Thanos, that motherfucker Joe on that damn TV show, all the people on Black as Fuck, like any other shows that you watch, everybody is a giant bag of shit. For real, just think about it. Most popular shows, everybody is a giant bag of shit, and they got you pulling for these motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Look at the president. Look at the president. Look at all of these people. Like, the world has changed to the fact where heel on heel is now something that's valuable. You can actually pull it off. I understand what you're saying now, but for me, like, just being a nostalgic, like, we always gonna draw from our child. Yeah. Just the nostalgic part is for me. Like, I grew up on Bugs Bunny, running away from Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam. Yeah. He-Man fighting Skeletor. I grew up on Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan versus, you know, King Kong Bundy. It was always And I think going back to that, like the American psyche, you know, from way back in the day on, is that if somebody get in your way, it's not only good, but it's your duty to punch them square in they shit.
You're right.
That is the American religion.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
that is the American religion. Yeah,
You're
Yeah, if
right.
you pay me, I'ma sock you in your shit. And I think
I
yeah,
that
mean,
that's for sure. That is for
what's funny
sure.
you said. What's funny you said is like, you know what I'm saying, like like when you look at the shows and all that today, when you look at people, like if you got two bad guys, I can root for a bad guy until he break code.
until he break code, which is like killing the kid or crossing his
Yeah, and
or
cause it's like, you know what I'm saying, like when you look at like the well, I mean it's kind of then went over and kind of blew away, but it's like the whole Tiger King thing,
yeah.
like the whole Tiger King, you know what I'm saying, like I was like, I knew Joe Exotic was a fucked up dude.
Yeah, he
I
was
knew it.
yeah.
But he was a fucked up dude. But you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, you know what, man? But Carol, she's more fucked up than what he was.
Yeah,
Because you know,
because of that thin veneer of respectability.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
but by the end of the show, I was like, man, fuck Joe Exotic. You know why? Because he started snitching.
yeah.
He started snitching on
It was,
everybody else. I was
man,
like,
the whole
oh
show
man.
was a bag of rats. It was just bad.
Yeah. And
Bad.
but see, my whole thing was I was like, okay, Joe, well, they were putting out Joe the way they made Joe seem. Joe was, you know what I'm saying, he ain't rat. But when he started telling, I was like, man, the hell
He
with
was out
him,
of
bro.
there.
Like, you out of there, man. I have no sympathy for you because it's like, you know what I'm saying, like how I feel, you know what I'm saying, you know what you signed up for.
Yeah.
That's like with the whole, you know what I'm saying, we can go ahead and veer off into music. That's like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Man, that's a good segue because this is the rap and wrestling podcast. And
Yeah.
so you know, me and Mook both come from the rap world. We done both put out multiple records and
Yeah.
you still make music to this day. But this Tekashi 6ix9ine is exposing something that I said a long time ago when I got out the joint this last time. Is that the streets is dead. Stick a fork.
But it's like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna say the streets is dead, but you know what I'm saying. But it's like all of the OGs, you know what I'm saying. Like they too old to be doing that, you know what I'm saying.
But I'm
They
saying
too,
it's niggas.
they too old to be holding the fort down, you know what I'm saying.
It's
Like
like me who done transferred over. Like now we doing other shit. We ain't selling dope and robbing and going to jail and doing all of that shit. We doing other shit. And the
yeah,
and we tried to tell you though that it was dirty and dusty and nasty because we seen it. Because when you go to jail, like when you get locked up and they sit you down in that room and you doing something that they want to know more about, man, they throw all kind of shit at you. You know what I'm saying? I done had homeboys and their mamas, you know, locked up and charged with shit to put pressure on them. You know, that's a told story that like, you know, that is rough and nasty. And what I'm saying is that get out, you know, if anybody watching this podcast and they like thinking, well, damn, you know, I need to stop doing this. Yeah, you need to stop doing it. Go ahead and make that transfer over to quit doing it.
my whole thing is this. Like I don't care. Like I was having a little discussion with the guys in my apartment complex, you know what I'm saying? We was kind of talking about that situation because, you know,
Gosh,
he got on the live talking about telling why he snitched and all that, you know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is like this, man, you don't like, for one thing, if you in that life, you signed up for the code. You don't snitch no matter what
yeah,
because them's the rules. Because it's like, you know what I'm saying, how many, I'm pretty sure you know a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, you got big dope boys, you know what I'm saying, they old lady probably might be getting knocked down by somebody in the crew, you know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
don't know about it, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
you
but
signed up for all of that.
that same thing that you said is like, but you know, I'm going back to the root of it. It's kind of like the whole game is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? The whole shit is fucked up, and I feel like that. the best thing to do is get yourself out of that situation with doing illegal shit. If you're doing illegal shit, quit doing it because they gon' you know what I'm saying? It's like just find a way out because it's better shit to do. You don't have to vibrate on that low level. It's way better
Yeah,
shit.
nah, you don't,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
it's
And also fuck snitches. Snitches do all kind of crazy shit and they fuck motherfucking lives up. But at the same time, the whole game is designed for that shit. It's
yeah,
designed.
it's designed for people to snitch. You know what I'm saying? But like I
It's
said,
designed for
like
people to snitch. But it's something. It's like the motherfucking snitches are cats who. Let me put it like this: the snitches are cats who fell victim to the game. You know what I'm saying? That's a real victim of the game. That's a real
yeah,
victim of the game because after you snitch, you a ghost. You can't go back to the streets. You can't really do shit. You know what I'm saying? You know you can't do shit. And I hope that folks take this Tekashi 6ix9ine and realize that the gang shit, the motherfucking street shit, all of that shit is set up for motherfuckers to stay going to jail. All gangs took government money in the 60s. All gangs had advisors from the fucking government. All of that shit fucked up. All the dope gang fucked up. The whole shit is fucked up. So if you fucking with it, just know the shit coming with it. It's not even a good thing to do and to get into. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot better businesses that you can get into and make real money. You know what I'm saying? The excuses is over with. I know that we disadvantaged. You know what I'm saying? But it's like every time, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
on in life where you still gotta like make different certain choices. But just know, man, that tool is tainted. You know what I'm saying? If you touch it for long enough, you gonna get what it's got. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah, man, yeah. I mean, that's the truth, bro. You know, some people smart enough to use it as a stepping stone, and some people can't leave it alone. I mean, that's like you know what I'm saying.
Between
That's like what like you know what I'm saying. Freeway Ricky Ross. You know what I'm saying. He tell his story all the time.
yeah.
You know, he he got out. He went back in. You know what I'm saying?
I
He,
went
he,
back in,
he
man. For a lot of people who don't know, man, I did, man, 4 terms in prison. You know what I'm saying? I got out the last time in 2012, and I ain't been back since. And I done like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing no more of that shit. And you right. Some people can't leave it alone. It's an addiction to the hustle. It's an addiction to like being in the mix of action. It ain't even
yeah.
the fucking. It's the action. You know what I'm saying? It's the action. That's the thing that I miss the most out of the game. It ain't even the money. It's the action. It's being involved in some shit and like living on that razor's edge. You know, so man, I just hope that everybody can kind of smarten up. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the business, you got to smarten up sometimes. I hope
Yeah.
everybody can smarten up to that shit, and so we don't keep on losing good brothers to the game.
That's true, man.
But what you listening to, man, music wise?
Man, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm still stuck in my ways, but I still jam the same stuff I've been jamming since forever, bro. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from near I'm from near Texas.
Okay,
So
okay,
so it's like Trey,
yeah,
Zero, UGK,
okay.
Slim Thug. Yeah,
You
that's
talking
like
about? I'm a
that's
big.
like my whole lane right there.
Okay. So since we talking about Texas rap and UGK and all of these guys, man, I can remember back in the day when Suave House was kicking shit big. You know,
Yeah.
that was my introduction to rappers from Texas. Between Suave House and the Ghetto Boys, and Scarface is like my number one. He's such a dog. You know what I'm saying? I love Scarface.
Yeah.
Uh, and UGK, I think Pimp C is probably the most underrated musician to ever be in the rap game. You know what I'm saying? As far as like multi-instrumentalist, like a real producer, and a real singer, like a real writer, like a real engineer. did it all musically, like behind the scenes for UGK. Okay, now I'm talking about Texas rap. Who would you say like that you listen to the most out of them guys?
Man, it's a split 50-50 between Trey and Zero, man. It's a split
Okay.
50-50, man. But like I say,
Oh, by
man,
nature.
my favorite, like my number one is Trey.
Okay. Trey do a lot of good shit for the community too, man. Shout out.
Yeah, man. I mean, man, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like, man, my for my birthday last year, bro, man, I met Trey. I met Trey, and like the funniest way I met him, it was as funny as hell, bro. It was like, nah, dog, nah, cause like last year around this time, like, I was driving for Lyft,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a pickup at the airport, and like it said, it came up as Trey, Trae, and
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, man, hold up, man. Like,
This
ain't too
can't be
many.
him, man. Yeah.
This can't be him, man. This can't be him, bro. This can't be him, man. So, like, cause like what happened was like when I pulled up to go pick him up from the like the lift section in Atlanta, he wasn't there. So like I kind of circled around, I doubled back, and I was like, man, nah, it can't be him. And I don't know if he called me or I called him. And I heard the voice, and I was like,
Whoa.
nah, man. This ain't Trey, man. This ain't Trey. So when I circled and I doubled back, bro, and I got it there, I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
It was him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I'm in this bitch like I'm starstruck, cause you know what I'm saying? I'm starstruck with hug. So like I took him like it was like an hour long ride. Like probably like 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? He ain't tipped me though, but I ain't worried about that though. Yeah. I got a picture though. You know what I'm saying? But like and then so I met him, and then on another side of it, like I had a booking in Louisiana. And like I was flying out of Houston. Well, I was flying into Houston because like what I do is I fly into Houston and I drive home to Louisiana, like it's about 2 hours to stay at my mom's to visit family. And come to find out, like, man, I'm going to catch my flight or whatever. Me and him was supposed to be on the same flight going back to Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, but it was like all in the same week. It was like I gave him a ride, and like 2 days later on his way back to Houston, yeah, I seen him up. But like I had ended up giving up my seat to get some flight credits, you know what I'm saying, for future flights. So like me and him ended up not being on the same flight. But when I seen him again, you know what I'm saying, I said what's up to him. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them guys, they follow me on Instagram. Dougie D, that's Trey. I mean, that's Zero half brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we have some interactions on Instagram. And then Lil Boss of you know who Lil Boss is, huh?
Nah, I don't know who Lil Boss is.
Lil Boss, he part of Asshole by Nature too.
Okay.
Like me and him, yeah. Like man, like, cause you know what I'm saying, like I-10 is like you know what I'm saying, the little pipeline from.
I just left Louisiana and Fleetwood Mac. Hey man, I've been on that shit, man, thinking about that little stretch of land. Because we listen to a lot of music from down there, man.
Yeah.
Ohio Asheville was a place where we got like, man, we got B-Lo and like a lot of that Louisiana.
Yeah, B-Lo and Baton Rouge. Like I before I left Louisiana, I was living out there in BR. I was living in Baton Rouge or whatever. But yeah, but like I used to jam like now back in the day when I was growing up, like you know what I'm saying, I jammed Louisiana music as far as like you know what I'm saying, No Limit. I was more of a No Limit than a Cash Money, you know what I'm saying? I was more No Limit than Cash Money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what I'm saying, like as I got older, like, you know, they kind of started doing they kind of went more commercialist, you know what I'm saying, and the boot kind of fell off music wise.
Yeah.
You got Boosie, you got Webby, you know what I'm saying, you got Gates, then, you know, you got a bunch of other, like just a bunch of local artists. I got a little partner back home, named Yellow Boy Rich. He coming up. He doing some things. He just shot a video with Boosie. He shot a video with Boosie or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Boosie show love to a lot of independent guys, man. But we getting to the end of our time, man, and I want to appreciate you for coming on, man, and having this good conversation with us, man.
Yeah, man, we did, man. Look, hey, we did end up talking about all kind of stuff. We ain't even get to what we can, but you know what I'm saying. But that's how it is, you know what I'm saying. You got two real cats, and then you get to talking, and it's like, you know what I'm saying. Y'all get to talking, and it's like y'all,
conversation,
yeah,
man.
like y'all sitting on the porch with a 40, you know what I'm saying, and just talking about it, you know what I'm saying.
Man, I can't wait to get you up to Asheville, man, to come and work a Urban Combat Wrestling show, man, where we can make some magic happen, man, and put some smiles on some faces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, most definitely, bro. As soon as this world get back to going, you know.
Hey, man, do you have any shout outs, anything that you're plugging right now? You know what I'm saying, that you want to tell people to tap into, man? Now is the time.
Man, just follow my Instagram, Maddux, MAD.MADDUX. I post a lot, you know what I'm saying, clips of my matches, little things I be doing in the gym. You know what I'm saying? As far as like shout outs, bro. Yeah, give shout outs to everybody I train with at ACPW, APCW, man. I still don't know the initials, but they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
All my boys, you know what I'm saying, at One Fall Power Factory, now known as the Nightmare Factory. If you watch AEW Dark, AEW.
Cody Vance, man.
Yeah, huh?
Cody Vance, man.
Yeah, Cody Vance, that's my dude, you know what I'm saying? We you know what I'm saying, it's my dog, man. You know, we done hung out, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm saying, he got his thing going, I got my thing going, you know, it's all them boys, man. All them boys over there at that camp.
Man, Fearless Musa, man, Lee Johnson. I've been seeing a lot of guys that I communicate with regularly.
Yeah. Just everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody out there who doing it, you know what I'm saying? I salute to you. Everybody doing it, and they doing it the right way. If you're doing it the wrong way, man, fuck you if you're doing it the wrong way. Straight like that. You know what I'm saying?
That go for workers, to promoters, to referees, anybody.
Yeah, man.
Everybody.
All love here.
Man, we appreciate you tapping into us. Make sure that you come and follow us on Instagram at Urban Combat Wrestling. We on Twitter at combat_urban. And tap that subscribe button and the bell to make sure that you get all of the Urban Combat Wrestling content, man. This Spaceman Jones, I'm signing out for my partners, the Finesse King, Alan Brody, and MOOK, the BTSG. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Peace.
All right, peace out.